Thanks for joining us on BloombergQuint. This is Deal Street, your weekly dose of startup deals. Now, India's streaming wars are only getting bigger and better. Now, Chinese gaming and streaming giant Tencent has joined the India's streaming party and has made an investment in India's MX Players and put about close to about $110 million along with Times Internet. Now, to talk more about this deal, joining me is Karan Bedi. He's the Chief Executive Officer of MX Player. Karan, many thanks for your time and speaking to BloombergQuint. First thing first, give me a sense of what really does Tencent bring to the table, and what are the key areas you're looking to deploy this investment?
So obviously, we are very excited and happy that Tencent and Times Internet also have shown the confidence to invest in the company. And I think as Tencent is one of the world's largest entertainment companies across gaming, music, and of course video. So they bring a lot to people in terms of experience across many markets in the world: China, Southeast Asia, and of course parts of other parts of the world as well. And of course, Times has continued to invest in the company. So very excited to have both of them on board. As for the use of the funds, I mean, it'll be across a couple of different areas. Obviously, content is a very key part of that. We'll be using the funds to invest in more original content, work with more licensing partners to bring more content on for our very large user base, and of course, further expanding the platform, in tech and product hiring, and of course, marketing that content.
Right. Now, we have more than 30 streaming platforms in the country, right from offered by entertainment platforms, telcos. We have global streaming players such as Amazon, Netflix, even Apple is coming to India as well. How do you aim to grow and create your own market in the country?
So, two ways to answer that. Well, number one, I think the size of distribution and the depth of distribution that we have today is pretty much unparalleled. Like I said, more than 175 million users on the platform every month in India. We have very deep penetration in lots of markets. So not just the tier 1 markets, which are, the lower hanging fruit for any kind of digital service, but also in tier 2, 3, and even tier 4 markets, we have some very deep penetration. So so that distribution strength is pretty much unparalleled in the country, not just in the video business, frankly, in any internet business, this kind of user base. So I think that's one very big thing. And what we have done is that, over the last 8 or 9 months that we've been live, we've done a huge amount of effort to actually bring onto the platform content that we think is relevant to that user base. So I think that the distribution is one very big differentiator. And like I said, on the content side as well, we have got two major buckets. We've got partnerships with a number of the leading TV platforms in the country. So we've got Sony on the MX platform. We've got Sun TV on the MX platform. And we are creating a whole bunch of original licensing and creating a whole bunch of original content that is for the audience that does not watch TV content. So, and with this kind of size of audience, all those audiences are on us. So, lots of stuff happening there. And on the third part, I think the other really big differentiator we have is just our technology. I mean, we started out 50-50 as a tech and media company. And, we continue to invest very deeply in, compression technology, video delivery, all of those things to make sure that, that the user gets a seamless experience.
Now, given you run a freemium model, how much sustainable is reliance on, an ad-based model for generating revenue? How long can you go with just relying on ad-based revenue model?
So like I mentioned earlier, at a scale that we operate at, we think that advertising is a good model to be in, because advertising, digital advertising is growing leaps and bounds. It's a $3 billion market size today, growing to $9 or $10 billion over the next 5-6 years. As you can imagine, you guys also have a large digital presence, and digital is something that is, more and more, not just the consumer base, but the advertisers are also moving very quickly to digital. And on the consumer side, I mean, there's pretty much no comparison. Today there are only 200 million TV screens in India, whereas there are already 450 million smartphone screens in India, and probably growing to 600-700 million, whatever the number is, over the next few years. So I think the consumer base is there. It's not as if advertising is going away as an industry. So I think that it will very much be a part of our business model. And I think that, at our scale, it's a sustainable model. That's not to say we won't try other models down the line, but as of now, we fully believe in this.
Right. But still the market is really hyper competitive. Does the competition scare you?
We've got a pretty differentiated offering. I think, as I mentioned to you, our scale of distribution and penetration is unparalleled. Our content base across our own original as well as the partnerships we have is pretty much unparalleled. Our technology, we are very proud of in terms of how we've developed it. So I think that overall, as a platform for example, we do a lot of innovative things. For example, we are one of the only platforms, I think, if not the only platform, that is providing both a video service and a music service on the platform as well. So I think we've done a lot of innovation around that, and in the distribution side, the content side, the technology side, and the innovation side, I think we've got a fairly well differentiated product. And our users are agreeing with that. We are, we've been live officially for about 8 or 9 months. We are, already the second largest platform in the country.
And what about profitability? How does the path to profitability looks like? Given especially you rely on an ad-based revenue model.
So I think, look, the whole sector is in investment mode right now. I think that it's important to grow the market and the sector, create the user behavior, create the offering. For example, today in the Indian sector, we have only now with web and online streaming coming online, we have worked on, these limited season kind of programming. You have seasons of content with 10, 15, 20 episodes. Whereas typically India has been more focused on the soap kind of content, which is, daily half-an-hour capsules. So I think that you have to create the user habit. You have to invest in creating the supply chain to create that kind of content. You have to invest in creating the supply chain in, the user acquisition model. So I think the whole sector is in investment mode. So I think that profitability will come. It's actually, I think, if you look at the way the advertising sector is growing, if you look at the propensity to pay on the subscription sector, I think it's not as far off as one would think.
I think we'll leave at that note. Karan, many thanks for joining us and speaking to BloombergQuint.